Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. I'm Len D'Amico, and this is episode 55. And it's my great pleasure this evening to have Charles Valentino. Charles, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm here.
You're here.
I made it.
You're more than here, man. You are a force to be reckoned.
If you say so.
Double nickel episode. Vocalist, frontman Charles Valentino. And, it's been my pleasure for, I think, 7 years. I think.
Sounds about right.
To play stage right or stage right, or the rightmost part of the stage to your right. Would that be stage left or stage right?
I've forgotten.
But it would be to your right.
Okay.
Way to the right. Playing guitar, Days Gone By.
Days Gone By.
With you, fronting that band. We had a lot of good times, man. A lot of fun gigs. Yeah,
Absolutely. It's the longest I've ever been with a band is with Days Gone By.
Yeah, Days Gone By is going to have a one gig this year. We're looking forward to that. But Charles, there's something on the horizon for you. I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Okay, well, I don't know how much of a secret it is, but I'm sure it's, well, for people who don't know me, they don't know anything. So, I have been with Days Gone By for about 10 years myself, and we dissolved last year, and I was, without kind of a main band to be with, so I was looking for one, and so I just joined one about a month ago. They're called the Players Club Band, and they're great. Some great musicians in there, Jeff Dumond, Troy Hickle, Jared Fowler, and we do a mix of a lot of different kinds of music, some rock, some R&B, some funk, some even a little bit of old school raps mixed in there. And so we're going to be playing a show here in March 8th at Heritage Lounge.
March 8th, 2024, which
Correct.
is just a few short weeks away.
Mm-hmm. It's coming up close. Yeah.
And are you ready?
Most of the way there.
That's awesome, man.
I've been working like crazy to memorize all kinds of tunes. I mean, one of the nice things about this band is that they already had about a set's worth of songs that we did in Days Gone By. So that took a little bit of the work out of the equation for me, and I just had to learn the rest.
Oh,
and I'm working on it. I've pretty much got it down at this point, but it's just a question of getting to the point where I'm no longer having to think, okay, what's the next thing I'm singing? Where it's just second nature, and I can focus more on the performance and less on the, okay, what comes next?
You'll be there.
Yeah.
Knowing you, I mean, you're such a quick study. And it sounded like you had such...
I'm a horrible student.
But you had such common ground, to get that, as you had, mentioned. But you're a quick study, man. I know you to learn material relatively quickly compared to the average person.
I don't have a basis for comparison because I'm only me, but I'll say okay. But yeah, it's a good thing that I like music so much because it'd probably be a real struggle for me otherwise. But yeah, I sometimes struggle with studying anything, so it's a good thing that music's a passion. Otherwise, I'd suck.
Far from that, man. I mean, I'm having my man crush Thursday with you here, right?
No.
I mean, I know Days Gone By will always love Charles Valentino,
You're making me blush.
myself included. However, I personally, I couldn't be happier for you, man. I know that with especially the players that you're working with. I mean, it's just going to be just a lot of fun. You guys are going to have a blast. It's going to be a good run for everyone, and lots of great gigs for you coming up.
Yeah, they seem like a great bunch of guys. We're all still getting to know, one another. Well, I'm getting to know them, and they're getting to know me. So it's going great. They're great guys. They're serious about trying to do a good job. They all seem very focused and wanting to put in their best effort. So and at the same time, we all seem to be really friendly and you know.
And the material is a common ground. Obviously, everybody's into the material, and
Yeah.
so
That's
I'm
a key. Yeah,
looking forward
nobody
to it.
seems to be unhappy with what we're doing, so that's important. That's super important. So.
Yeah, for sure. Good deal. Well, looking forward to that, man. For this coming year, 2024,
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
Players Club.
it's definitely pushing me out of my comfort zone a little bit, especially with the old school rap stuff, which, I grew up with it. It was always around. It was never something I tried to learn. I don't know why. It just wasn't an emphasis for me, but I've been working at it. I got it. So,
I've seen you do some like the Bare Naked Ladies tune.
1 week.
1 week
Yeah.
with the big, I was always very impressed with your ability to deliver that song, right? So I'm sure that rap will come. And I've seen you rap.
Oh, yeah, we did
it's
other
more
stuff.
natural to you than you're giving yourself credit.
Usually stuff that wasn't like associated strictly with hip hop, but like the Bare Naked Ladies tune 1 week, where you're spitting out a ton of words, and took some practice to get that one figured out. But we also did like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Give It Away, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So lots of words, lots to remember, and you have to remember it fast. So I've been working at it. I'm pretty much there.
I don't doubt it, man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Now, you're going to front this band.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be bringing out some of the toys that we've seen you pull out at some of the other shows that you've done in the past?
Oh, sure. I'm definitely be bringing my cowbell, my tambourine, stuff like that, little percussion things. As far as, I might pull out keyboards here or there, depending on the gig, the size of the stage, whether we have room for all that. But, I'll need to do some work to learn some key lines for some of the songs we're doing. Right now, my main focus is just getting the words figured out so I can focus on the frontman stuff and less on instrumental. But yeah,
Makes sense.
We haven't talked much about anything else.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Definitely. And I know you are, and I'm sure the guys are too with the Players Club.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking good. We'll have things will pick up pretty quick here. They haven't had any shows this first quarter up till what's coming, and then it quickly ramps up. We've got a few shows in a row. We've got a St. Pat's show that'll be at O'Brien's Pub.
And good deal. Up at Polaris area, right?
Yep,
O'Brien's,
Polaris area.
like right around the corner. Mm-hmm. Couple places, couple venues
Near
in that
Sancus
area.
Lozelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never actually played at O'Brien's, so that'll be a new venue for me, and should be a good time at St. Pat's after all.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, that's going to be O'Brien's for St. Patty's Day.
right.
Good stuff. And St. Patty's is on a Sunday this year.
Indeed it is, laddie.
So that'll be a big night, man. A big night for those that have the gig. But yeah, man, I couldn't be happier for you. I mean, it's going to be obviously a good long run, hopefully for everyone involved. Can't wait to see that band. So for you, Charles, obviously, fronting a couple bands in your day. When did you start singing? And was your voice your first musical expression?
I would have to say yes, but I never really considered myself a singer until I was basically an adult. I mean, I'd sung to myself, sung to the radio when nobody could hear me. I was kind of a shy kid when it came to that sort of thing. And but yeah, I do have distinct memories of being even a young kid, like learning to harmonize along with stuff just for fun. And but it was just something I kept to myself. When I was in high school, I got into performing a little bit more, getting a little more out of my shell, but it wasn't music, it was theater. So I was involved in theater. I was trying to get into every play, and I was in the drama class. I was a drama geek, and I was having a lot of fun with that. And when it came to musical performance, the most I'd done is some choirs in middle school. That's basically it. But by senior year, I was really looking forward to being heavily involved again in drama, and they announced that they were only going to be having one production that year. It's a small school, so they couldn't necessarily, they weren't budgeted for a bunch of stuff. So it was just one production. It was going to be a musical, and I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? I guess I'm going to have to sing in front of people. So I started working at it, started trying to get an audition thing going, and I did, and I didn't get the part that I wanted. And I was definitely disappointed with that, but I felt like, I can do this. I can sing. This is definitely something that's for me. So I started trying to get more involved. I jumped mid-year into the senior high school choir, and it was, again, small school, so anybody who wanted to join could join. They didn't ask questions. They're just like, yes, please join the choir. So I participated with them for the latter half of the year. I sang at a little variety show that they had and got such great encouragement from people. It was such a great feedback. People thought I was awesome, and I was like, okay, this is great. I guess I will keep doing this.
Good for you.
Yeah. But at that point, I was already 18 years old.
That's okay. I mean, you found something that people responded to at 18. Good for you. That's good. Good stuff. So where to take you from there then?
I kind of took a more or less a hiatus from most of life because I went on a mission for my church for a couple of years. Did a little bit musically there. In fact, actually, it's not really accurate to say I wasn't involved in music. I was definitely involved in music on my mission quite a bit. In fact, my most successful month on my mission was December. And I had a companion. We worked together in pairs of two. And he and I both sang. And so we decided, hey, we're trying to get people to recommend us to their friends, so that we can go visit them, maybe teach them, maybe baptize them, who knows? And so we decided, well, what if we get people to send us to their friends to sing them Christmas carols? So we went and in front of some groups in the congregation, we sang them just a cappella, Christmas carol. We said, we'd love to sing for your friends. So, and we could even bring them a treat or a card from you, that kind of thing. So everybody was pretty hip to that. We suddenly were flooded with referrals from people. And so we went out there and we just sang in a bunch of doorsteps and had a great time. It was an awesome month. Felt really good. It was great to perform for people and spread some Christmas cheer. And, we even managed to open some doors for some people who decided that they wanted to know more, and in fact, one family actually got baptized. That actually happened. I wasn't there for it because I'd already moved to another area, but it ended up happening. It was pretty cool. So it was neat to be able to use music for a good cause like that.
Absolutely.
And then after that, I got into college, and I decided I wanted to do more live performing. So I got in my first band.
And where was that?
That was in Orem, Utah.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So what kind of band was that?
It was a cover band. It was a bar band. We played, all kinds of classic rock covers. This was back in 2001, 2002. It's a band called Phoenix Rio, and these guys were all, twice my age, but they were all great. Brad Campbell, Chad Shockley, Gabe Seeley, and Julie Ray, whose last name I can't remember. But so Julie Ray sang some of the lead, and I sang some of the lead, and we played a number of shows out there, and then graduated within about 3 years, basically going year round. Came back to Ohio and started trying to find similar things here, and been in a handful of bands since.
Yeah, and you started an original project that I don't know if you want to talk about, but
Sure.
I love the material that you guys came up with. Talking about Marble Park.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a Columbus project, right? Yep. Is it still active, Charles?
I would say it's never completely inactive.
Okay, good.
It's always kind of there. We get together intermittently, but usually only about once a year. We'll sing a lot of times at the annual Komen for the Cure, Race for the Cure. And we've also played at various other events. We just played this last summer at the Vineyard Church's. They had an event there with a number of original acts, including ours. And so that was great to get back together with them. But we were more active back in around 2010, thereabouts. And it was a fun, original funk rock outfit, rock and soul, or as we like to call it. You can still find that stuff out there on the internet somewhere.
And there's times where I'll start playing it, and Beth's like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "That's Charles Valentino and Tony Stewart on the Kid, and who's your bass player these days in Marble Park?"
Well, it tends to fluctuate. It depends. We got a few people who have been past members who fill in when they can. So Matt Sistone was our bassist for a while, and Jeff Arsman. Jeff, he can sit there and play guitar, or he can play bass. Just depends on where he's needed. So, and we've had other guitarists as well. Pat Ashby, who is a great guy, guitar player, and actually many people might know he's written some good songs. He wrote some songs that we performed back then. The cool thing about that project is that everybody kind of wanted to be involved in the songwriting, and everybody was. Our keyboardist Kim, she wrote some beautiful ballads. And I wrote some songs, usually more along the rock and funky kind of thing. So did Tony. And it's an interesting band because the music kind of went all over the place. So it's fun stuff.
Yeah, and it's high quality. I mean, I got, like I said, I mean, I enjoy that music. Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. What else were you doing around that time? You had Marble Park, and then you dabbled a little bit, but. Is that how did you move further into the music scene in Columbus, being back?
Well, things were kind of slowing down with Marble Park a little bit. We weren't really having a lot of gigs or things like that coming, and
it's tough. It's tough to when you have an original project to get out there.
And I was seeing, it is, and I was seeing other members they had other bands that they were in. And, that they were having fun with. And I said, be interested in possibly doing something like that. But I wasn't really actively looking for anything. And then I got reached out to by a guy named Frank Lockery.
I know that guy.
And they were looking for a singer for a band called Days Gone By. And so it was funny because... So I can't remember. I think Frank's already told the story because he's been on here, right?
He has.
Yeah, I just remember getting reached out to by him and finding out, pretty much everybody but one of us in the band worked at Chase, which was an interesting bit of common ground. And so we were all a bunch of corporate cogs that wanted to play rock and roll on the weekends. And so it all worked out. I been with them for over 10 years, and I know everybody decided to go their separate ways this past year. So I will always have a place in my heart for these guys.
Oh, I agree with that too, Charles. I mean, there were so many gigs. We were doing 2, 3, 4 a month. Hitting all the fun venues in the Columbus area and out, in the surrounding area too. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciated the fact that I was a part of that for a while.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's the longest I've been with any band, and I grew a great deal.
Well, we all did, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I feel like my energy that I've put into showmanship is all come from my experiences with Days Gone By. And, always trying to make things a little bit better, whatever way I can. And I credit the band with making me want to do that because really loved all you guys. Still do.
Oh yeah.
Always will. And it's
Oh
been
yeah. Yeah. I mean, from my perspective too. I mean, I feel the same way about everybody in the band. Mm-hmm. It was just a cherished experience, no doubt about it. You're also working with some other projects. Any others that you'd want to call out?
Absolutely.
One that comes to mind in my mind. If you don't call it out, I probably will.
You go right ahead.
Oh, come on.
Okay, I'll do it. So yeah, I also play with Matt Sistone, who you've also had him on your show here.
Matt was the second episode.
Yeah. Bassist extraordinaire, heck of a musician on really all levels. Plays, writes, sings, harmonizes, and he's just a
phenomenal,
super talented guy. And he was looking for somebody to help out with his project, A Basic Approach. He's had a number of singers over the years, all talented, and I think I was the first guy that he tapped to help him out with that. So he plays bass, I sing. Sometimes we are extremely fortunate to be joined also by Nikki Marie, and who probably needs no introduction, but she sings with Radio City, and she's a super talented lady, awesome singer, and they were the QFM house band to boot for. Well, I think, are they still or not?
You're talking about Radio City?
Yeah.
So Nikki fronts Radio City in Columbus, and they are coming off that first year.
Yeah.
And they'll soon be doing a podcast episode. I left them alone. I mean, I really...
they've been busy.
Yeah, they've been busy. If you pay attention to Nikki's post, too, if she's not doing music, she's a mom, a wonderful mother of several children in the home, and, they're out doing equestrian activities, and they're a busy couple,
Yep.
Nikki and JP. But the Basic Approach concept, that's a great time. You guys do so.
On paper, it doesn't sound like it's going to work, A guy plays bass and some people sing next to him, but it works, It's great. It's so much fun. In fact, for me, it's kind of a different experience than, being in a full band, right? And I love the dynamic of it because the emphasis is different, right? Where with something like Days Gone By, trying to put on, a big rock show with a full band, loud and unapologetic about it, and, and just trying to keep party going, and did a great job of that. Always a lot of fun. But with A Basic Approach, we put more of an emphasis on, the quality, the harmonies, and, and the funny thing is that the music, you wouldn't expect it to go all over the place the way it does. Sometimes we're doing something that might be sort of predictable, like a Simon and Garfunkel song. Then all of a sudden we're doing Soundgarden, Metallica, D-Light, Grooves in the Heart, if you remember that song, And yeah, we do sometimes get a little help from a drum machine for that kind of thing. But yeah, the music goes all over the place, and it's always mesmerizing to see the kind of things that Matt can do on the bass. And it's always a blast singing with Nikki and Matt. We can pull off those three-part harmonies, and it sounds, when it sounds great, it sounds great.
It does. Awesome. Yeah, it's a fun show. It's totally a treat, to go to A Basic Approach show, whichever version's out there, right? Whether it's the three of you or just the two of you.
Yeah, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Nikki, sometimes it's all of us playing with Matt. So, and they've been very kind to let me sometimes do a number on my own with my ukulele, which has been something I've been trying.
Which I've captured a couple of times on video.
Have you?
I have, Charles.
I've always been unsatisfied with myself as a musician from the standpoint of I can sing, yeah, but I've never really put in the discipline and the time to learn an instrument, and the closest I've gotten is in the last couple of years, and that was when I picked up the ukulele, and yeah, it's easier for me. I got small hands, thanks, Mom. But
you borrowed a Telecaster from me for a while, I remember, a couple years back.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
You and Frank both had Telecasters of mine for a while, and I didn't mind
I think you're getting
at
me
all.
confused with someone else.
No, I thought you tried guitar for a little while.
I still have a guitar.
Oh, okay.
A couple guitars. I just don't.
It didn't come to you, right? It's yeah,
Again,
I think
it's just way more of an effort. In fact, I'd probably be able to take off with guitar a lot better now that I've spent a couple years with the uke, just because I've built up more finger strength, I've built up more flexibility. It's probably more of a doable thing now, but it was always a big struggle for me, just small hands, and suddenly uke just became so easy and so fun. And then I was like, well, can I sing and do this at the same time? So
yeah, you
turns
can.
out I can. Yeah,
You can do that. You do it well.
I try. I'm still mostly playing chords and sometimes arpeggiation, but nothing particularly difficult or advanced. It's just mostly providing at least a little backing while I sing. So
There are a couple of local front people, vocalists that really, really touch me deeply, okay, emotionally when they sing. And you're one of those people, Charles. I mean, when you're playing your uke, it's a very organic, raw performance, and your voice and the ukulele and the fact that you're just performing. I mean, for me, it's very emotional. It's just a delight to witness somebody putting it out there like that.
well, thanks.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it's not the most polished, but I have
be
fun
so hard
doing
on
it.
yourself, man.
It makes me feel better. Well, honestly, it makes me feel good about myself that whether it's rough around the edges or not, at least I can do something I couldn't do before.
Oh yeah,
That makes me happy. So it's something to feel proud about myself.
yeah. You get and I've seen you've branched out. You've performed on stage with keys, and it adds a lot.
Yeah.
It's good to keep rolling forward with whatever you're drawn to try.
Yeah. It has also helped me to be a little bit more empathetic with my bandmates when it comes to the demands,
learning
the
covers.
the challenge of singing and playing at the same time. And, now I have a better idea firsthand. Yeah. Sometimes when you're singing something in one rhythm and you're playing something in a completely different rhythm, and it's not easy to get that all figured
You
out.
almost have to visualize like 2 or 3 different, depending on what you're doing, right? If you're playing something with your hands and then you're trying to sing, it's almost. I think Mike Ignorino told me the way he does it is he imagines a horizon line, and everything below the horizon is his. He plays bass. He does play guitar too, but he's a bass player when he plays live. And then above that is where he deals with the lyrics and the vocal performance. So he's able to visualize 2 completely different things going on simultaneously with this horizon line concept. And I've always tried that.
That's fascinating.
But as you know, I struggle. I can do a Lou Reed song or a cult tune, but that's about it for me.
Well, I love seeing you sit there and sing and play, It's great.
Well, if it gives you a break, that's cool, right?
Well, it's not just that, man. It's fun to see you doing your thing,
Yeah. Rock star, rock, feeling that rock performance. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. And it's fun, backing you up on that kind of thing.
And you do, which is cool.
Yeah. And sometimes Len, you and I get together for the occasional show with your beloved over here, Beth Newsom,
Yes.
Cronenwith, and
Yes.
we do the Ronas Brothers.
Which was born out of necessity to get out during COVID,
Right?
remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you coined the phrase Ronas Brothers. And Beth said, well, I want to be a Ronas brother. And I'm like, well, you can add a lot of material to this thing
She
because
sure can.
those have been fun shows.
Yes, they have.
We've done a couple the last couple years. Mm-hmm. And
It's given me a chance
they
to
work
also,
out.
yeah, I bring my conga, I bring my uke, and you guys bring everything you bring, which is,
PA and guitars.
and talent, and
And Beth will play some harmonica on some stuff too. Yeah.
absolutely. And so that's been fun too. It's, again, given me more outlet, more chance to try new stuff, and it's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. but yeah, when it comes to singing and playing, I don't have any visual technique like that. I'm not really sure if there's any trick to it for me other than just starting out really, really slow and just keeping at it until I somehow get it. My brain just finally clicks and, it all comes together. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing exciting, just practice.
Yeah, practice is something that we all kind of work into our routines. You got a busy home life, I know that.
Yep.
So, but you fit it all together,
I try. I have too many hobbies, honestly. I have no business having.
What are your other hobbies?
I mean, my main hobby is, I've got a household.
Yep.
I've got a wonderful wife and 4 kids. Oldest is now 20, and the youngest is about to turn 10. And, they're all ADHD creative types like myself. So we are
busy house.
We are quite an interesting household with a lot of ideas and a lot of energy, and
Awesome.
It can be awesome. It can drive you nuts. I'm sure people know everybody's got families. Everybody's got that kind of thing going on. But yeah, that takes up most of my time. And yeah, I get to enjoy music on the weekends here and there, and that's enough for me.
Yep. Oh, for sure. And that'd be enough for most, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Are you involved in anything else musically?
I'm spacing it. I feel like there should be an answer to this somehow.
Maybe not active, but I know you have been.
Well, I was, a year or so ago, I was in another band that was the Soul Satyr Horns Band. Formerly, before that, I was known as Soul Satyr. Many years ago, people probably are a lot more familiar with Soul Satyr. But then the horn section continued things on after that band sort of went away, and then eventually created their own band, the Soul Satyr Horns Band, and I sang with them for a couple of years, and that was a blast. Some amazing musicians in there. Sean Pruden, which you've had Sean on the show here.
I love Sean.
And Phil Hartley, an amazing drummer and singer,
yep.
plays guitar too, writes music too, and Keith Blair on organ piano, super, super talented key player. Not to mention, the horn section themselves, and also Greg. And I'm super embarrassed now because I'm spacing it on Greg's last name.
It happens. It does.
Somebody kill
We'll try.
me.
No.
But yeah,
Soul Satyr, that was a fun show. Is it not booking currently?
The band kind of dissolved, but the horn section lives on. One of the original members of that section, John Bonham, he moved out to Arizona. He actually was flying in for our shows for a while there, and then he decided that was too much. But he still comes into town and meets up with the other horn players, and Ted Basinger and Joe, whose name I'm also spacing on. Somebody kill me.
No, I'm sorry, man.
It's all right.
Great, they're all great.
Great bandmates.
Just
a disclaimer for those in the listening audience: I am horrible with names.
Don't worry, Charles.
I really am.
I know. I think people are forgiving. We can.
Except for when they're not.
Acknowledge them.
Yeah.
That's great players, right? All of them.
Yeah, but I'm super embarrassed all the same. Anyway.
Understood.
But yeah, so much fun playing with them. Covering. Yeah, I've wanted to be in a funk band with a horn section for the longest time. In fact, I had a very short-lived one when I spent a year living in Arizona that it never got out of the garage. But playing with the horn band was such a treat. These guys are all just ultra talented musicians, and we're playing Stevie Wonder in Chicago, and Steely Dan, and so many other fun artists to cover with great horn lines in there, and just seeing how people light up when those horns start going. It's just awesome.
It is awesome. I've been there myself, just for a brief summer. But yeah, funk bands are the bomb. Love them.
Yeah, I developed a real strong love for funk somewhere around my college years. I just started listening to a whole lot more, and wasn't something I was quite as exposed to. My mom was, probably one of my biggest influencers in my youth, just because she had the huge record collection. She was always playing her records for me, and I was always begging her to play the Jackson 5 and things like that. She was always playing Motown and old 50s and 60s rock, but never so much on the funk angle. I got into that in college and started listening to Prince and Rick James and the Commodores and Parliament Funkadelic and all that stuff, and started getting really into that. And then all I wanted to do was be in a band like Soul Seder Horns Band, and playing a band that can really do that kind of thing. So.
And they did.
Yes, they did.
We made a couple of those shows, and yeah, great time, no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. And you made it fun, Mr. Valentino.
I try to make everything fun,
So speaking of which, do you recall any funny stories out of all the hundreds of gigs you did over the years? And I'm fortunate probably to have hung in there, not as long as Jeff or Frank in days gone by, but I got 7 years of gigs with you, man, and some funny stuff has happened. Anything stick in your mind that you're willing to share?
That I'm willing to share? I don't know.
Some of that happened to me. There's a moment in Apple Valley in particular with the nurses who were even to this day, they're probably fans of the band, I'm sure.
I really need to keep a diary because I've probably forgotten everything. But no, here's the only thing that really stands out to me is like a funny story, and it's not really a funny story. It's just more of a thing that happened consistently, almost like a running joke, which is, while it was extremely rare that anybody got crazy enough to flash the band, that sort of thing happens to bands sometimes.
It happened in days gone by a lot.
Well, I never saw any of it.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I never saw any of it.
Maybe I was just the lucky one.
or unlucky, I'm not sure. But here's the truth of the matter. Truth of the matter is, while I'm out there on stage and I'm singing, there's like 3 or 4 different things going on in my head at the same time.
At any given moment.
What I'm singing, what I'm doing on stage, how I'm expressing
Whether
myself.
You're on stage or you're on a table.
Oh yeah, I do that
100 yards away.
I do that too. Yeah, getting out there. What can I do next? Sometimes I'm sitting there thinking about like, how am I going to segue into the next song? And not to mention trying to engage the audience, not just by being showy and stuff, but things like making eye contact, or at least pretend like I'm making eye contact. So I'm often like
frontman stuff.
I'm often looking left and right in 10 different ways at once, and usually not focusing my eyes on anything in particular. It's almost, especially when the lights are in your eyes, but even when the lights aren't that bad, everything's just kind of a blur in front of me. I'm there, but I'm kind of in a zone. I just try to make it look like I'm not in a zone. So I never see any of the crazy stuff. When the crazy stuff happens, it's pretty much, unless it's really obvious and it's right there in my face, I am not going to see it. I'm not even going to know it happens.
I mean, I've had some embarrassing moments that you've completely missed, apparently.
Well, tell me one.
I don't know if I can.
Why not?
Well, Frank, I think Frank he wanted me to talk about it when he and I had his episode, but, a shout out to Lisa and Amy at the Apple Valley.
I have a vague recollection of nurses.
The nurses, yeah. So we were at Apple Valley, at the Apple Valley Pub, which is now switched owners. It's now called the Pub. In the Apple Valley area,
I'll be playing there this summer, actually.
Well, that makes me happy.
Yeah, me and the Players Club will be out there this summer.
Well, hopefully Amy and Lisa will be. Lisa lives in Florida now with their family, but I think Amy's still in the area, if I'm not mistaken.
It's always a good time out there.
But I was excited that night and everything. We were having a great time, and I even have a picture on Facebook of this recently. Somebody actually sent me from 2018, I think, where I completely and if you know me, okay, I've been going commando since, I don't know, 16, 17 years old. So, I
didn't know that, but now I do.
I mean, it's out there now. So I don't
know what to do with this information.
Did a rambunctious move on stage, and I split my pants. So they just split like right in the middle. Okay, and the nurses were right in front of me, and immediately kind of lended a hand, if you know what I'm saying, tucking everything back, and everything was cool, and. It was so quick. Maybe Frank's the only one that saw that because he brought it up on his episode, and it had to, of course, happen to me, right?
Of course.
And yeah,
the embarrassing thing he always brings up about me is how we were having an after show dinner at Waffle House, and 2 mating flies landed in my eggs. That was yuck.
Well, that was kind of a band tradition, wasn't it? Like the late night breakfast.
It's also now a tradition that, like, whenever we meet, I feel like he brings that up.
2 mating flies.
When I'm just trying to forget it.
So the flies land, they do their business, and you, in the middle of a story, didn't witness that, and then
no, I witnessed that
to finish your plate, or what?
Not at all.
Okay,
I'm sitting there eating, we're talking, we're laughing, we're having post-show conversations, and then that just landed right in front of me, in front of everybody at the table. And of course, I think everybody was grossed out, but mostly they were just laughing at me because it happened to me. So they took my plate away and they got me something else. But
that's a good thing.
Yes, of course, it's a good thing. But yeah, that stands out in my memory, probably because Frank will never let me forget it.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
That's all good, man.
My ADHD-addled brain is a mess, and I have a hard time holding on to some of these memories. But yeah, I do actually remember your pants splitting. I remember that much. I don't remember the rest.
There's photos on Facebook, apparently.
I will try not to look those up.
I have pictures of folks doing things in the audience or near the audience while you're singing. Young ladies doing things. You didn't even see any of it. But I'll have to show these photos to you, perhaps, when we come off the air.
I wish I could tell more of these crazy stories. I would be so much more interesting to be around. But, yeah, for the most part, I feel like... How did you put it? How am I? You said I'm...
Charles is you're a solid front man. I mean, what do you mean? What are you talking
No, I
about,
believe the term you used to describe me was aloof.
That's not a criticism.
No,
it actually, I think, is a.
It has its pros and cons.
Yeah, it has its pros and cons. Have I said that you're aloof on more than one occasion?
No,
that stuck with you when I made that remark. Charles is so aloof.
It stuck. No, I think you said like charmingly aloof.
Charmingly aloof. That sounds like something I would say.
Yeah.
Probably at a rehearsal.
Okay.
When we're trying to work through something and you were charmingly aloof at the moment.
In my own little world.
That's what happened.
That's the ADHD is what that is.
Well, I'll just say, man, it's been a pleasure for sure. Okay, over the years to perform with you.
It's been a great time,
and I'm looking forward to your next chapter with the Players Club.
I'm looking forward to the next time I get to play with
players.
you, man.
Well, we can do that too.
Listen, y'all, Len can play.
I can, yeah, but I got to get some physical stuff taken care of.
I understand.
It's getting there.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna make it.
It's getting there. Things are whittled down to complications to a surgery I had 6 years ago. But I am a cancer survivor.
Yes, you are.
It's just playing its toll now, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm on a good path. Good path is just taking me a lot of time. But, the podcasts keep me occupied, keeping me kind of in touch with what's going on musically.
I love it.
It's been a great time.
Well, good. Well,
A lot of outpatient work in between, but nobody really knows any of that malarkey going on behind the scenes. Don't need to.
This town is full of talented, amazing people. Let me just say. This whole world is. There's one thing I've learned. And it's great to hear their stories on this show. I've listened to several myself, and I'm always continually impressed to hear people's stories and about their talent. And I've gotten to see some of these people perform live myself, and it's awesome. It's a blessing to be able to be among such great people. So.
Well, and Charles,
here's to you, Columbus music scene,
and you're one of those. You're one of the pillars, man. And it's going to be great to see you continue and continue to make a mark. With the Players Club, it's going to be a great run. I just know it will.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
Great players, and you're going to get lots of gigs, and there'll be good ones. And
we already got lots of gigs. I'm watching the calendar.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Definitely.
Yeah, I think if people want to take a look and see, you just have to do a search for Players Club Band. Drop just Players Club Band. And we've got all kinds of stuff coming. Playing all over town, east side, north side.
How about Sistone? Does he have any basic approach on the book for 2024?
Indeed. And yeah, again, I'm embarrassed because I don't have that memorized.
We can pop that up on the links.
Okay, on the links,
episode.
Definitely. We'll put it on there. You can see our next Basic Approach show that is coming up. And
then Days Gone By has one show this year.
We're going to have a reunion.
At Flint Fest.
That's what we're doing. We're having a reunion show.
And I'm pretty excited because there's going to be 3 bands. We're going to be in the middle. But then Clubber Lang's playing.
Clubber Lang's going to be the headliner.
Main headlining there.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, I love those cats.
I haven't gotten a chance to see them live, but I've watched plenty of their performances. I follow them online, and I get to see a bunch of their video clips and stuff. And
just monster.
They put on a show, man. They're some talented guys.
Yep.
So
no question about it. Yeah. So that'll be a fun night. Back in the saddle.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
And it'll be great to be on stage with you again, and Frank and Jeff and Mark, and let's
crank them out.
Let's rock and roll.
We'll do a couple rehearsals ahead of that.
Yeah.
But I play that material at least weekly.
Good.
I pull out the old set list and just keep it fresh.
Maybe
there's some key parts in some of those songs that I just want to make sure I stay on top of.
Sure. Well, we got to do some more Rona shows here.
We can.
You know what I really love doing with you, Len? When you and I got together and we did our own kind of special version of that Billy Squier, Everybody Wants You.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Well, that was kind of a funky version, was it not?
We kind of slowed it down and turned it into our own little
funk machine.
Slow love funk song.
Yeah. That is a highlight. And in a similar fact, well, there's several of those tunes, and of course, having the opportunity to have Beth in the mix too is always a special thing.
Absolutely. It's always fun to harmonize with her and come together on that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, and she's a great musician too. I mean, in her own right.
Absolutely.
Very versatile and just a pleasure to.
She does it all
to
too.
work with. Yeah, she does.
I still need to get a chance to be in a room with her when she's playing trumpet.
Well, if you can make it out to Marysville on March the 2nd for Matt Sistone's birthday,
I wouldn't miss Matt Sistone's birthday for anything. Well,
I think she might be playing a couple of instruments, including the trumpet, at that show.
Okay.
So that's the Liquor Talking.
You got Paul Weiss out there.
Fabulous group, man.
Great guy. Great player. He played in the Soul Sailor Horns Band for a while, too.
Oh, that's good to hear. Oh, that's right. He did.
Yeah, he did.
That's cool.
I played alongside him.
Yeah, Paul he's kind of the front person.
Yeah. You guys doing Steely Dan and
they do. They're doing
Billy Joel and
Elton John.
Yeah.
And some other stuff coming, I'm sure.
It's a great mix of stuff.
They and they do it well. And Keith Fields on guitar is amazing with all that material. It's very challenging, complex material, and he covers it all very well. The Steely Dan book alone would be intimidating for many.
I bet.
And he just does it so.
I'll have to take your word for it.
matter-of-factly.
I'm not nearly as advanced as an instrumentalist to be even able to even try that kind of stuff.
Well, Paul does a great job, as Donald Fagen and
I do
Elton
sometimes.
John and Billy Joel. I mean, he does them all. He does all that work.
Matt and I on Basic Approach, we actually do Steely Dan tune. We do Ricky Don't Lose That Number, and I actually do play ukulele along with him when he does that. But it's only on the solo. I just back him up while he flies around the fretboard. I'm just playing some chords, so it's pretty simple what I'm doing. So, but I play Steely Dan, yay for me!
And you sing it too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a fun tune.
Well, Charles Valentino, episode 55 on Columbus Local Podcast.
2 nickels.
Double nickel. Man Crush Thursday. Thank you so much, man.
Well, I have a crush on you too, Len.
Oh, come on.
You know why?
All this.
You know why I have a crush on you? You're like listen, man, you're a role model for me. And here's why.
What?
Because I know your story. I know you started getting into guitar, into your adulthood.
Oh, yeah.
Late. And listen, man, I see you rip it up there. You got soul. You improvise so beautifully well.
I play from my soul.
You do.
I'm a deep person in general, and it shows in my guitar playing.
It totally does, and it sounds wonderful. And I always love the chance when we get to do stuff like that lets you shine, and it inspires me. It really does, because I'm in a similar spot where I'm just trying to, at this point in my life, pick up an instrument and play. And I know your story, and I know what you've been able to accomplish, and that's what I want to do.
That's cool, man. That's good to hear. Yeah, well, so let's keep supporting each other and keep inspiring not only ourselves but those that listen. Go see Players Club, right? And A Basic Approach.
Absolutely.
And Charles Valentino will he'll rock your socks off.
I'll do my best.
And those that you're with, it's always
Absolutely.
good, man.
Well, I feel like my goal as a front man is as it should be, which is not just to be a singer, but to be a performer, to be an entertainer, and to connect with the crowd as best I can. And I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still getting better in little ways here and there. But I feel like if I'm not trying to make it fun for everybody, then I feel like I'm not really doing my job. So that's my goal. That's what I go out there to do, and I hope I keep getting better at it.
Well, it's admirable what you're doing, man. Just keep rolling, and we'll keep an eye out for you and continue to try to inspire you as you inspire us. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Well, everybody inspires me with their talent. So.
Awesome. Okay, sir. Well, I really appreciate your time tonight, man. I wish you the best with everything you're doing currently and forward, and some of these Ronas brothers. Maybe we can get something out there this year.
Maybe.
I kind of lost some of my contacts that did some of the acoustic stuff, but we'll get the calendars aligned and get something out there as well. But
it keeps me motivated to keep playing and learning and trying to do that stuff. So.
Yeah, and that's a good avenue too for you to bring some of your toys out.
Yeah.
And do something that you're not able to do with some of the other things you're involved in, I guess.
Absolutely.
Good. Multiple vehicles for expression.
And too many hobbies.
That's okay. All right, man. Well, episode 55, Columbus Local Podcast. Charles Valentino, thank you.
Thank you, Len.
All right, everyone
Thank you, Columbus.
Have a great
Support
evening.
local music.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.